special board meeting, a very special board meeting. It's July 20th, 2020. Time is 6:08 p.m. Can we have a call to order? Roll call, please. Ms. Wester? Okay. Ms. Wester, are you with us?
I'm back.
Okay. Again, as we
Can
stated,
you hear me?
yes, we can. 6:08 p.m. We're going to call this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles,
Present.
Terrell,
Present.
Thunderbird,
Here.
Beard,
Here.
Kennard,
Here.
Wester present, Martell.
Present. We have a quorum. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we move forward into the public comment, I want to make a motion to amend the agenda. Initially, this was a special meeting for the superintendent search, which I feel is a very important topic and I feel deserves our utmost respect is due to the significance of the agenda item. So I'm going to ask that it be moved to the front. And if we have time, we'll get to the remaining action items when that concludes. Is there support, please?
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented with moving the personnel action items to the end of the meeting, but based on the email we just received from the interim superintendent, that we remove personnel action A to Monday's meeting and not tonight.
Okay, superseding motion by Ms. Piles. I'll support it. Can we have a roll call, please, if there's no discussion?
Piles,
Yes.
Thunderbird,
Yes.
Beard,
Yes.
Terrell,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Wester, yes, Martell.
Yes, motion carries. The agenda is amended as stated. We are now going to turn the floor over to the public. I see we have 24 guests with us today. If there's anybody from the public that would like to make a comment for agenda items only, again, the agenda items for tonight are the superintendent search and the contract extension for our interim super and the contract personnel matter for the director of technology. If there's any comments, the floor is open at this time. Please unmute, introduce yourself, limit your comments to 3 minutes. The floor is open. And we'll wait just a moment to see if there's any comments from the public for agenda items only. If not, again, there's a portion at the end of the meeting too for the public to comment as well. Okay, we're going to move forward then. At this point in time, Mr. Jay Bennett from MASB is with us. I'd like to turn the floor over to him.
Thank you very much, sir. Good to see you all. So we got a couple things to talk about tonight. We are going to talk about interview preparation. We are going to talk about interview questions. and then we are going to select the candidates that you would like to call in for an interview to be your next superintendent. So I'm going to start this off with a PowerPoint presentation, and the PowerPoint presentation will give you some additional information on interview prep. So give me just a second here. Okay, can everybody see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. So the purpose of the interview, a couple of things here. Learn more about the candidate, learn how they conduct themselves in a public setting. Remember, some of these candidates are practice interviewers and some are not. As I've said before, and if I haven't, I'll say it now. And if I've said it before, well, you're going to hear it again. The interview is the least predictive part of this whole process. The most important piece to this whole process is, does the candidate have successful experience in their background? If they've been successful in the past, it's more likely they'll be successful in the future. So if they've got a successful past, they've got a great resume, they've got great references, but they completely botched the interview, we have to take that into consideration. Maybe it was a bad day for them. Maybe they're just really nervous. Maybe they just don't interview well. But if everything else is telling us that they're the right person for this job, then let's not let a bad interview completely cancel them out. Conversely, if they absolutely dazzle us during their interview, but their resume doesn't have the experience that we're looking for, the references don't check out like we think they should, or there's just something else in their background that doesn't quite make any sense, I don't want us to be wowed by the interview to the point where we forget everything else, okay? So the interview is important, but it's not the most important thing. And I want to make sure that regardless of how they interview, we're doing our due diligence on their experience, their background, the references. So beyond the first interview, we want to have a careful review of their previous experience, like I just referred to, that thorough reference and fact checking. Second interviews are an opportunity for us to give them another chance. So if they have a not great first interview, but everything else checks out, then a second interview gives us an opportunity to see them again and hopefully see them in a better light than that first time around. And then there's some other research that we can do. In red, as I already said, it's only one part of the selection process, and it's important not to base your selection exclusively on the interview. We're going to want to review the interview guide in advance. We're going to give some thought as to what indicators you'll be looking for with each question, and we want you to know and practice the questions that you'll be asking. Remember about that cultural noise, positive or general responses, which are the socially acceptable thing to say. These lack substance and evidence. We do not want to support cultural noise. We want to redirect the facts experiences. If we hear something that kind of sounds of that cultural noise, well, hey, that's interesting, but tell me about a specific time when. So what we don't want is we don't want them to avoid the question and kind of try to, sideline us and take us in another direction. We want them to address the question that's being asked of them. We have to remember that when we nod and pause and casual remarks, et cetera, that's all taken in by the candidate. If we do this in this virtual environment, again, it's a different kind of environment than a face-to-face. And we have to remember that sometimes we have a tendency when we listen to nod, and we're not necessarily nodding in agreement, but we're nodding in acknowledgement that we hear, but that can be taken as a nod of agreement. So we want to make sure that we're being clear and try to minimize our body language as board members. We want to listen for those responses, and we don't want to be overly supportive. We want to go into these interviews with an open mind. We want to listen objectively. Don't rush to break a silence. Let it hang out there for a little bit. Let the candidate process, okay? I'm going to work with the candidates to make sure that they present their best selves to you, and I'm going to tell them to practice, to get their answers in a good place. I don't want them to go over. I don't want them to rush. I want them to leave plenty of opportunity for every question so they can address every question that you have for them. I'm going to encourage them to beware of their ums and their ahs, and that it's perfectly natural to take a break. Although sometimes I know in this virtual environment, sometimes when they take a break, one of our first inclinations is to rush to, did we lose them? What happened? Did we lose the audio? So we just have to be aware that sometimes they may just be taking a break to think through the answer to the question, okay? We don't want to validate their answers. Let their answers stand on their own. We want to maintain good eye contact. This isn't necessarily as important in the virtual. In fact, sometimes it can be a little weird in the virtual if you've got those 7 faces staring right back at you. If we do these face-to-face, then just remember that with maintaining of the good eye contact. Make your notes. Make sure that you remember that your notes that you keep could be subject to FOIA. So make sure that your notes are relevant to the interview and that they're appropriate in the off chance that somebody requests your notes through a FOIA. We want to listen for those facts and actual events. We want to think about the situation that they're talking about. What was the task that was given to them? What was their action and what were the results? After the interview, take a second to note questions that you might have for the next round of interviews. So during the first round, and this is the same whether we're talking about face-to-face or virtual, our goal is to create like circumstances so we can compare candidates. So the first round is very scripted. They're going to be the same questions for each of the candidates. There'll be about 17 or 18 of these questions, and they'll be the exact same for all the candidates. The second round, our goal is to explore strengths and potential weaknesses, and we can, during that second round, tailor the questions to the specific individual. So if we heard something in the first round that we'd like to hear more about in the second round, then we can tailor a question to that. If we heard something in the first round and you want some clarification or a deeper dive on a particular issue, we can address that in the second session. Candidates will be responsible for managing their own time. The consultant, myself, will notify the board president of any concerns related to this, and the board president and I will welcome the candidates, manage the proceedings for the meeting. So that's the interview workshop in a nutshell. Any questions about the interview workshop? Okay. All right. You should be seeing a list of questions. Do we see the list of questions? Okay. Let me make them a little bigger there. How's that? That good? Okay. So as we go through, in this document, there are 23 questions. We only need about 17 or 18 of these. If there's something that we want to talk about that's not in here, we can definitely add as well. These are just based on the things that you in your selection criteria set you're looking for. That's what these questions are based on the survey results, things of that nature. But as we go through these, we can definitely add questions and we can definitely edit questions. This is not the recommended list. This is just a draft list to get us started in the conversation. So this first question, very general. We usually start an interview. We've had the opportunity to review your resume. Please tell us how your background experience make you a good fit to be the next superintendent in Romulus. Very basic. We're not asking them to regurgitate the resume because we've looked over the resume. We're telling them, tell us why we should pick you. Tell us why you are going to be the next superintendent or should be the next superintendent here in Romulus. Any objections to this being the first question?
None.
You're good with that? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this one. And that reminds me that that is one that we're going to use. Okay. So we've got a couple of questions here based on vision. We start with share an example of a time you led a sustained multi-year improvement initiative. Be specific regarding the situation, the task at hand, your specific role in the outcome. Please describe a situation in which you maintained and enhanced unique collaborative partnerships. Managing vision and purpose involves anticipating future trends, creating a compelling vision and communicating that vision. Describe a situation that conveys your capability in this area. Describe a time you established a vision for your school district What process did you follow? Any of these jump out at you as something that you want to make sure that we use?
I like 4.
Okay, Teresa likes 4. How are we on 4? Does 4 look good?
I like 4.
Okay. I like 2.
All right, so I've
I
got
was
4.
I was torn between 2 and 4.
Well, we can do them both. How's that? We'll do 2 and 4. Does that work for everybody? 2 and 4?
Works
Okay.
for me.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Interpersonal. How have you gone about earning trust in previous positions? How would you go about doing so if chosen for this position? What is empathy to you? What role does it have in our schools? Tell us what the term culturally competent means to you. Give an example of how you demonstrate this characteristic. Tell us about a challenge you've experienced in bringing a diverse group of people to consensus on a difficult issue. How did you provide leadership? What was the final outcome? Tell us how you made visibility, accessibility for staff, parents, and community groups. Often we learn from successfully facing challenges or experiencing mistakes or failures. Share a time when this was the case for you. What did you learn? How did you apply it? Tell us about a time in your life when you needed to be true to your personal integrity, even though there were or could have been negative consequences. In other words, tell us about a time when you had to stand up for what you believed in the face of opposition. So, what do we like out of this one? Probably 3 or 4 out of here.
Number 8.
Yeah, I was going to say 8 for sure.
Okay. What else strikes your fancy in here?
So for me, like I'm looking at number 6, but I would like if we could tailor it specific to our needs right now and ask how they would go about making connections with staff and students specifically during the pandemic, while respecting the needs to move students' learning forward. So the relational component of that, but specific to the pandemic and moving learning forward.
Okay, so let me think about that for just a second.
I guess the focus for me is how they will focus on relationships during these difficult times with the in the
Okay.
district and the pandemic.
Okay. Hold on, I'm formulating in my head. I think I got it here. All right, given our challenging times around the pandemic and an ever-changing educational landscape, how do you plan to work with our students and staff to maintain an effective educational experience for all? Is that what you're getting at, Debbie? Something along those lines?
Yes, but being intentional about the relationships with students and staff. So yeah, given the pandemic. I also like 9 and 10 as well.
How do we feel about 9 and 10? 9 and 10 look good?
I like 9.
Hi, Jay. This is Judy. I'm looking at number 12.
Okay, I think that 10 kind of plays in a little bit in the 13.
12. Yeah, 10 goes into 13.
Yeah, so I think 13 kind of covers 10, Debbie. But so Judy's saying 12. What do the rest of us think about 12?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for this one, then, this area in interpersonal, we've got culturally competent, challenge you've experienced bringing a diverse group of people to consensus on a difficult issue, time in your professional life, you have to stand up for what you believed in, and challenging times around pandemic, ever-changing educational landscape. How do you plan to work with our students and staff to maintain an effective educational experience for all? Okay.
Jay, if I may, for a minute,
Yes,
I don't know
sir.
if it would be for the interpersonal or for the initial questions, but I think something, I know we talked about cultural competence and then a diverse group, but I think maybe asking about what is your experience working with a diverse student body population might be something that I would be interested in, as well as what is with us facing upcoming budget cuts. I think something to do with with budget, a question about budget as well. So those are two things I would be interested in hearing about.
All right, so let's look through the rest of our questions here, and if at the end we don't get to something on budget and something on student diversity, then we can add it, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, so looking now in the management and decision-making area, how do you recruit, develop, lead a management team? Give us an example of how you've done this in the past. Describe how you go about engaging and affirming staff members. How do you go about making decisions on controversial issues? Tell us what budget development process you use to gain broad support for the final result. What does an effective relationship between the board and superintendent look like, and how do you cultivate such a relationship? Tell us about your experience in development and implementation of one specific program change or initiative. What processes did you use? How did you involve others? So it sounds like we want something here around budget. So let me.
Yeah, 17 for sure.
Here
Yeah.
for just a minute. I'm sorry.
17 and 18,
17 for sure.
Okay.
for sure, and 18. This is Judy. 18.
I agree with 18.
Yes,
All right.
18. This is Judy.
Okay. I will highlight 18. Let me finesse 17 just a little bit to deal with the pandemic here. So, all right, so 17, given the unknown nature of the future of school finance, please tell us what budget development processes you would use to gain broad support for the final result. Does that address your budget concerns there, Mr. President? Ed?
Yes, sir. I was just rereading. Looks that's sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I like
And then we
15
got
as
this
well.
one on effective relationships. I'm sorry, Debbie, what's that?
15 as well, please. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were
That's
talking.
okay. No, that's okay. Describe how you go about engaging and affirming staff members. 15, we like that one. All right, well, I'll put a pin in this one and we'll see how it looks when we get done here. Okay, anything else out of the management decision-making?
I'm torn between 14 and 19.
I like
Well,
19.
they're dealing with two different issues. So one's talking about recruiting, developing a leading management team, and then 19 talks about experience and development implementation of a specific program. Do we like one more than the other? Is there one we think is more important than the other?
I think 14 would be more important in terms of recruitment and development. But then I also am concerned about development and implementation.
Yeah, I think 19 has a little bit
19,
more.
I would take 19 over 14.
Ursula, you
Yeah,
just
I
want to
would
ask
think
all the
19.
questions, don't you?
I think 19 is relative to.
Yeah.
19? Okay. If we do this Ursula's way, this is going to be a 5-hour interview. Let's not do that.
Hey, watch it.
As long as her mom joins us in the background.
I'm just
Right.
kidding. Okay, professional background. What unique skills or leverage could you bring to this position? How will the Romulus District be served by this? Please tell us how your previous professional experiences in education have influenced you as a leader. Describe your experience as an educational advocate at the local, state, or national level. Anything in here jump out at you?
Yes. Those are good questions.
You like all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Number 3. Yep. Not really. See, I'm not
Judy. I like all 3.
questions.
All right, let's see. Hold on, let's see where we are right now. So right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that'll get us to 13. We need a closer here on your interest in becoming your next superintendent. So basically what this comes down to is we either give them an opportunity to ask us questions or we give them an opportunity for closing remarks. Do you have a preference?
Closing remarks.
I would say closing remarks.
Yes.
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks? Okay. So that brings us to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If we add this question on how do you go about engaging and affirming staff members, that puts us at 14, right?
So Jay, may I?
Yeah.
There's a question that I would like to know, and if I may add it, if the board is in agreement, and I would leave out the green one that we were debating.
All right, what you got?
Relative to staff, this one for me is relative to our students. I'd like to ask the candidates how they'll foster equity in our district for all students when it comes to learning, and ask them to give specific examples of how they've led this work and made a difference in previous districts. How they'll foster equity for all students when it comes to learning, and give examples of how they've led that work and made a difference in previous districts.
How would you foster equity amongst all students, and could you please provide examples of how you've done this in the past? How we feel about that? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so
Yeah, Danielle.
I think it was the one section where we highlighted all 3 of them. I don't know. Can we like condense some of that into one question? You know, here going, and I guess what I'm thinking is that I'm thinking quality more than quantity
Okay.
as far as our questions. And because after a while, of interviewing candidates, it can be pretty laborious. And I don't want us to lose steam getting to some of the later candidates because we're kind of maybe glossing over, the questions or the responses because we feel like now we need to pick up the speed and rush. So, I mean, with the professional background piece, could we maybe take, because I kind of like the 22, tell us your previous professional experiences, but maybe we could.
Well, we probably can get rid of 21 because 21, they're going to do closing arguments. Closing arguments. Listen to me. This is what I get for watching Law and Order. They're going to do closing remarks or thoughts. So that will give them an opportunity to tell us about their unique you know, their uniqueness and why they think they'll be a good fit, and they have an opportunity at the beginning. I think you're right. This one on previous personal experiences, professional experiences is good. And I think this one on your experience as an educational advocate is going to be important for you as a district to understand what they're going to bring in that realm. And I think that's a different kind of question. So I can definitely drop 21. I think we should keep 22, 23. Does that help, Danielle?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't want it to be so long to where.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay.
Jay, I have a question
Yeah.
too. Are there questions, and this might be round 2, questions about board and superintendent relationships?
Thought that
Yeah,
was
so we have one in here.
There's one in
that
here.
talks about, oh, let's see, where is it? I know it's in here.
Yeah, I
There
saw
was
it.
one in there.
Oh, number 19. What does an effective relationship between the board and superintendent look like, and how do you cultivate such a relationship?
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
address
Yep.
what you're thinking about, Teresa? Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right. So is there anything in here that we didn't address? Ed, does the question about equity, does that satisfy your desire for a question about their experience with a diverse student body, or do you want something more specific? Okay, well, I'm just going to go with that one then. Any other questions, concerns, anything we're missing here? Anything you want to make sure that we address that we haven't? And this isn't necessarily a finalized process. I'll write this up. I'll get this to you. You can take a look at it. And if there's something in here that you think needs a little bit more tweaking, or something that you think we're missing in here, then just reach out to me. Let me know, and we can definitely make some adjustments to these as we go. Okay. Any other comments, questions on the questions?
And I'll probably find it when I read through it, but I was just wondering if there was anything about community relationships and stakeholder relationships.
There is a question here about maintaining visibility and accessibility for staff, parents, and community groups. Would you like to add that one in there?
Well, maybe
Or does that not
tweak
quite
it
address
where-
what you're thinking, Teresa?
Maybe tweak it where instead of maintain visibility, be intentional about establishing them.
Establishing relationships?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was trying not to add an additional question. I was hoping that there was something in here that.
That's all right. I think we've got room for one more.
I hope not.
Tell us how you establish and maintain relationships with staff, parents, and community groups.
That's
How's
good.
that strike you?
That'll work.
All right. Okay, so like I said, I'll get these written up, and then I will get these to you to look at. And then if you have any additions, deletions, subtractions, corrections, hey, Jay, you spelled that wrong, let me know. Okay. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to discuss the candidates. Now, before we do this, a couple things that I want to remind you all of. We are going to be discussing these candidates based on number only. And the number that we're going to use is the number that was in that tiered list that you had access to. So, does everybody have their selections based on those numbers from the tiered list?
Yes.
Yes. Were we limited to a number of selections, or what was the recommended number?
So the recommended number for calling for interviews is 6. I asked you to come up with 6 to 8 of your top. So if anybody needs the list, I can quickly shoot you an email with the list. Does anybody need the list? Danielle? Anybody else?
Jay Kennard does.
Okay, Danielle and Judy. Anybody else need the list? Ursula?
Is this a numbered list?
So yes, there were numbers on the, it's alphabetical, and then there
Yeah.
are random numbers on the left side.
I don't see any random numbers.
All right, would you like me to just send it all to you?
Sure.
I'll send it all to you, and then you'll have it. Okay, 1 second. All right, it's coming your way in a PDF. When you get that PDF, you're looking at the third page of that PDF. And you'll see numbers on the left-hand side. So go ahead and just give me some indication that you got the PDF now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. You see the numbers?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I have the spreadsheet open here in front of me. So as I call your name, I would like you to give me your numbers. You don't have to give them to me in any particular order. Just give me the numbers that you came up with. Hopefully they should be around 6 to 8, and I will make notes. So, and then we'll tally. So just,
Okay.
kind of give me a minute between each of your numbers so that I can put it in my spreadsheet here. Because unfortunately the numbers don't match up alphabetically. So I got to kind of search for them.
Sounds
And
good.
then I'll just kind of tally it. And then when we're done, we'll see where we are. Any questions before we start the process?
No, sir.
Okay.
Good.
Numbers only. So I'm going to start with Debbie. So Debbie, give me
Okay.
your 6 to 8 numbers, one at a time.
69,
Okay, 1 second. 69.
85.
All right, hold on.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Bingo. No,
69. And what was the next one?
85,
85. Okay.
98,
All right, 1 second. Okay.
87,
Okay.
96,
Okay.
45,
Okay.
30,
All right.
5,
Okay.
and 2.
Okay. One second here, make sure I got everything. Okay, I'm gonna read them back to you, make sure that I got them right. Okay, Debbie, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, 45, 69, 85, 98, 87, 30, 96, 2, 5.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome. That was
Okay.
9, right? Because we had different order, just to make sure there were, that's 9 numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes,
Okay.
that was 9. Even though I said 6 to 8, Debbie, yes, that was 9.
I'm known for pushing the limits. Sorry.
Okay, all right, all right. Okay, Teresa.
Oh dear. Hold on. I have mine written down here too. Okay, I had 45.
Okay,
69.
okay,
22. Did I have 22? Yeah.
okay,
9.
okay,
Let's see. I had 7.
all right,
And then I had, let's see. I had number 5 and number 2. How many is that? I can't remember.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think that's all I have.
All right, let me read it back to you.
Okay.
45,
Uh-huh.
69,
Yep.
22,
Mm-hmm.
9,
Mm-hmm.
7,
Mm-hmm.
2,
Yep.
5. Okay. Ursula, are you ready?
No, I'm still finishing.
All right, I'll come back to you. Judy? Judy?
Okay, can you come back to me?
I will come back to you. Danielle?
Okay, 50,
All right, hold on. 50.
9,
Okay.
22,
Okay.
105, 30,
30. Hold on a second. Okay.
5,
5.
and 2.
Okay. Let me read it back to you. 30, 22, 9, 50, 2, 5, and 105.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. All right, Denisa.
Okay. 59,
59.
9,
I'm sorry, what was that one?
9,
9. Okay, one second. Okay.
19, 20,
Okay,
25,
okay,
70,
okay.
8,
All right, 1 second. Eight. Why am I not seeing 8? I am not.
I
Is
don't
there an
see
8?
an 8. I don't see an 8.
No
I don't
8.
see an 8,
Double
Denisa.
check it.
let me check again. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Jay,
It's
can I
48.
add, can
It's
I
40.
add one to mine?
Hold on a second, Teresa.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What was that, Denisa?
It's 48.
48. Okay. 48. All right. Yeah. 48 I got. Okay. Any others, Denisa?
69
Okay.
and 96.
And 96. Okay. Let me read these back to you, Denisa. I've got 59, 69, 96, 9, 19, 70, 25, 48.
Yes.
Okay. Teresa, who did you want to add?
It was 50.
50. Okay. Ursula, are you ready now?
Yes.
Okay. What do you got?
59,
Okay.
5, 98, 30, 69.
All right. Hold on 1 second, please. You said 30 and 69?
Yep, and 9.
All right. 1 second. Okay. Let me read them back to you. 59, 69, 98, 30, 9, and 105.
No, not 105. It was 5.
Oh, 5. I'm sorry. Okay.
5
Got it.
and 2.
And 2.
That's 7, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct. Okay. Judy?
Okay, 5,
All right, hold on 1 second, please. 5. Hold on. Okay. 5. Just a second. Okay.
2,
Okay.
9,
Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, Judy, I've got you for 2 and 5.
9,
All right, 1 second. 9. Okay.
48.
Okay.
69.
Okay.
59.
Okay.
I got two more, 30 and 96. Although you only asked for 6.
That's okay. 30 and 96. 1 second. Okay, 30 and 96. Denisa,
Yes.
can I read yours out one more time? Make sure that I think I may have deleted one. I just want to double check yours.
Okay.
59, 69, 96, 9, 19, 70, 25, and then did you have one more?
I had 48.
48. That's what I thought. Okay.
Did you say 96?
All right.
You said 96.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I said 96. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Ed, what do you
Thank you,
got?
sir. 73.
All right, 1 second. 73. Okay.
Hold on, I want to make sure we got the right people. Yeah, 73. Okay. 60.
Okay.
2 and 5.
Okay.
25.
25.
Yes.
Okay.
59.
Okay.
62.
Okay.
And 96.
Okay. Any others?
I like 7 as well, but
Okay. I'm going to read these back to you now. Make sure that I got these right. Okay. At 59, 62, 96, 7,
hold on, I'm sorry. You said 59.
59, 62,
Okay.
96,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
25,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
73,
Yes.
60.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to mute myself for a minute here. I'm going to do some quick math, and I will be right back with you. All right. So just give me a minute.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So based on what I'm seeing here, I have 2 and 5 with 6 votes each. So I think those are automatics. I see 69, 9 with 5. So I think those 2 as well. So I say 69 and 9. Then, so that gives us, that's 4 right there. After that, I have 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 with 4. So that would be number 59, number 30, and number 96. So that right there gives us 6 candidates that a majority of the board would like to have in for interviews. So let me read those numbers back to you one more time. 2, 5, 69, 9, 59, 30, and 96.
7. 7 candidates.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are correct. That is 7 candidates. I'm okay with 7 candidates if you're okay with 7 candidates, especially seeing that those 7 all got a majority of the board. I'm okay with that if you're okay with that. What are your thoughts here? Is 7 candidates okay instead of 6? I'm good
How
with
many
that.
candidates are remaining?
What's that?
How many are remain? I don't have a problem with having more candidates. I think especially because for most of us, this is our first time going through this. We have an idea of what we're looking for, but I don't want to necessarily, if there are other candidates that someone really wants to see, rule them out.
Right. Well, here's the thing. So once we get past these 7, nobody else has a majority. So if we want to start getting into the weeds, I mean, we could, but what I have here is I have 7 candidates that have a majority of the board, that have a majority of the board members' support. So I think that's where, I mean, that's where I would start.
Right.
You've got 7 solid candidates here to look at. And no, there's not even anybody else that got 3. Everybody else are 2s and 1s. So
I agree. I concur with what you're saying. This is
I do
Judy.
too.
I think 7 is fine.
7 is the number.
okay. So next steps. I'm going to reach out to these 7, and if they all accept, then I will issue a press release. I'll get that to Mary, and that will have all the information. I will issue 2 press releases. The first one will say the following 7 have accepted interviews. That'll go out as soon as I get confirmation on everybody. Then I will email all the candidates that did not get selected for an interview. And so they'll know before the press release goes out. So they'll find out from me that they've not been selected before a press release goes out. Then we'll issue a second press release once they've all confirmed an interview time. Okay. I had emailed you, and a few of you responded back to me. I'm thinking we're going to move that second interview that was originally scheduled for August 4th. Going to move that to August 5th. So that's going to be the Wednesday instead of the Tuesday. So that gets us off Election Day and all the craziness that's going to be going on there. Is there any problem with August 5th for any of you?
That's fine.
Okay. And first round interviews we have scheduled for 28th and 29th, correct? So I just want to make sure we're all good with the 28th and the 29th
Of July?
of July. Yep.
Are we doing it virtual?
Well, that's what we need to figure out. So based on everything and based on the way everything's written right now, we need to be meeting virtually as opposed to face to face. And I think that will work just fine. We've done it.
Yes.
I did my last search, the entire thing I did virtual. So I think we do these virtual, and I think that'll be
Thank you.
easiest on all of us for setup and everything. When we get the second round, maybe we'll have a better idea of what that looks like, and maybe we can talk about possibly doing second round face to face. But I think that this first round of interviews, we probably should plan on doing that virtual.
Okay, that's good.
My next question to you is, because we'll be doing 4 interviews on one night, I'll probably set them up to do 4 interviews on Tuesday and 3 interviews on Wednesday. My question is, on Tuesday, do we want to do 5, 6, 7, and 8? Or do we want to do 6, 7, 8, and 9? Is 5 o'clock too early for anybody?
No. The earlier, the better.
Okay. So then on the 28th, we will do 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then on July 29th, we will do 6, 7, and 8.
Now, will we be having any conversations, Jay, after those interviews?
Yes.
Okay.
So we will debrief each of those nights, and that will give you an opportunity to give me feedback on how you thought the interviews went, the things. And so what we'll talk about is the things that we liked, and we'll talk about our wonders. And so our wonders are, I wonder how they'll do, first-time superintendent in a urban district. I wonder how they'll do, with budget based on, their background experience. So we're not gonna talk negatives about the candidates. We want to just talk about the things that we wonder. And so we'll talk about the things we like. We'll talk about our wonders. And then after the last interview on the 29th, again, we'll talk about the candidates. And then on that night, we'll pick who we'd like to come back for interviews on August 5th. Because we're going to do these virtually, I'll have an online survey form that anybody that's participating can fill out. And so that'll be a feedback form, just like if we were in face-to-face. So they'll fill out that feedback form, and then I will email you a PDF of each of those responses as soon as I can that night. So you'll have them that night to take a look at and read the feedback from anyone that's participating in the interviews. So any community members, staff members, whoever that's participating in the interview, they'll have an opportunity to fill out that feedback form, and that will go back to all of you. So you'll be able to read all those comments and consider those as you decide who you'd like to come back for a second round. Okay?
I have another.
Oh, please go ahead. My apologies.
I'm sorry. This is Teresa Beard again. This is maybe more for Mary. I don't know if Jay would know the answer. What newspapers are we going to put these press releases in? If Mary's still with us.
So beyond the papers, my suggestion would be, I can't remember, I thought that you had a page on your website specifically for the superintendent search.
Yes.
Okay, so definitely put it there. Put it on your Facebook and send it out to all your families via email if that's something that you normally do, Twitter, whatever. So put it all those places, and then if you want to release it to any of the local papers, that'll be completely up to you. And Mary, I think, has a pretty good handle on where that should be released to. But the main thing is you want your community to know, who you're interviewing and when those interviews are. And so that's, so get that out in as many venues as you can. And hopefully that'll address that.
Jay, I'm thinking that we'll probably end up doing the normal ones that we do, like Facebook. So
Okay.
that way, because most people do that. I think newspaper-wise, we usually do the News Herald, I believe is one that we have. It's funny because I've been talking to all these papers about other items, but I can also use them for this. But
Yeah.
I know that we will probably put something on our website. So I have to check with Cooper to see what we can do with those, because he does usually the Facebook and the website stuff. That way people have
Fantastic.
a way to go into it.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, so just to review next steps. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, real quick, and I don't want to get too deep in this discussion, but considering that some of our choices may or may not be internal candidates, might we consider 6 external? I just want to make sure that we, get a nice pool of candidates.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
If the board is opposed, the board's opposed. But I'm just
He didn't hear you good,
He didn't hear you.
Mr. Martell.
okay. I said considering that some of these candidates may or may not be internal,
Okay,
might we consider 6 external candidates?
oh, okay.
I agree.
I see what you're saying. Well, if you had some candidates that that scored at even a 3, I mean, maybe. But I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 candidates that only got 2, and of those 6 that got 2, I would highly dissuade you from 48, given previous experience, not my own, but theirs. So that would bring us down to 1, 2, 3, 4. And of those 4, all of which are in what I say are the ones that most closely match what you said you're looking for, I think any of those 4 would be a strong 8th candidate. But I don't know which one of those 4 you'd prefer over the others.
Jay?
Yeah.
Please repeat that.
What'd you say, Debbie?
I asked if Jay would please tell us those 4 numbers.
So that would be 45, 22, 23, and 25.
Hang on, we're looking for those. 23, 25. You said 23?
Okay, one more time. 45, 22, 7, and 25. Oh, I'm sorry, and 50. I missed 50 and 50. So that's 5.
45, 22, 7, 25, and 50.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm having trouble finding 22. Oh, I see. I would like to see, I mean, I'll just throw out there, I would ask to see 45. So Jay, here's my thing is I understand that we are trying to be mindful of the time that it will take to interview X number of candidates. And I get that. However, our objective is to identify and hire the person who's best for our district. And in that sense, it requires our time. And so, although I understand we don't want to waste time, I think that we need to spend the time. And I look at this in terms of, we're not looking for a casual relationship. We're looking for something serious. And if this was a dating app, we wouldn't simply swipe right on just a couple few candidates, because we're not looking for casual relationships. We're looking for something long-term, hopefully that parallels a marriage. And so I would rather have more candidates, even if it takes us more time, to get the best fit for Romulus Community Schools.
So, and Debbie, I hear you 100%. And so here's the thing. This isn't a time thing for me, and I don't think it's a time thing for you all as well. I mean, we've got all the time that we need. For me, it's more of a I want to trust the governance system that we have in place, and the governance system that we have in place relies on a majority of the board. And so if a majority of the board feels that way, then I have no problem with it. What I'm saying is based on the numbers that I have in front of me right now, a majority of the board has 7 candidates. And so if a majority of the board would like to add an 8th candidate, I am absolutely okay with that. I just am trying to make sure that it's what a majority of the board would like to do.
Absolutely.
So does the board want to take up a vote out of, and take up a vote on those 5 numbers, or each board member just throw up another number? And the highest number wins.
So, Mr. President, I just had a quick question to Jay. You said 45, 22. What was the number after that? Because
Okay, 45.
22,
All right, hold on.
23, and
23?
25.
Because I
Yeah.
don't see a 23.
I'm sorry, 45.
That's what he said.
Yeah, 45. I'm sorry, 98. I may have missed 98. 98. 22,
Mm-hmm.
7, 25, 50,
Mm-hmm.
and then I said 48, although I would dissuade you from 48 based on the little bit of background checking that I have done. So unless somebody really wants 48, I would look at the other ones before that. And especially seeing that all of these are 2s, none of these are majority, I think you're safe leaving 48 off and working off those others that we mentioned.
Okay, just for clarification again, I'm sorry. 45, 98, 7, 25, and 50.
And 22.
So we have 6 numbers. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna request that we just take a vote on one of them 6 numbers then, if that's okay with the board. Is anybody opposed to that?
Yes.
Sorry?
I'm in agreement with how the board ruled, with the majority, but if, I'm opposed to it myself, so.
You're opposed to adding another number or
Yes.
adding or vote? Okay, so you're not opposed to the way that we're gonna vote if we choose to vote on the new one. You're opposed to just adding another number.
Correct.
Okay. Does the board need to take up a quick vote on adding another number or not, or is how do you want to do this, Jay? What is the preference?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you'd like to do, if you want to if you'd like to take a vote on whether or not we want to add an 8th candidate, and if that passes, then we can talk an 8th candidate. If it doesn't pass, just go with the 7 you got.
Okay, would that be a motion? That would be a motion of a vote then, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. President, before we move ahead,
Please. Yes, ma'am.
out of these numbers, so
Yeah.
I know that you were going ones that received 6, one that received 5 votes, one that received 4. Out
Yes.
of these numbers, are all of these the ones that received 3?
No, these all received 2. You didn't have anybody that received 3.
Gotcha.
These
Okay.
6 that we're talking about all got 2.
Okay.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Every 60 seconds should
You can't
enter when passes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a.
So I have Mr. President, so I just want to make sure that I'm clear in understanding it. So these numbers, 45, 98, 22, 7, 5, and 50, all received 2.
Correct.
25. 25 and 50.
Yes. They only
Yeah,
received
25.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Kennard.
Okay, for the purposes of getting the widest and best pool, I'm gonna make a motion to add an additional candidate out of the listed 6 candidates. Is there
I will
support?
second that.
Supported by Ms. Piles. If there's no discussion, we'll do a quick vote.
Beard,
I'm good either way. I guess yes.
Thunderbird,
Yeah, it doesn't make me, I'm good either way, so I'll say yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Terrell, Terrell, Kennard,
No.
Terrell. Wester is no. Terrell,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I said yes.
Martell,
Yes, motion carries 5-2. At this point, I guess,
Okay.
Jay,
So this is what I would recommend. So we have 6 candidates here. So let's make sure that we're talking about the right one. So let's go over the numbers one more time. So I've got 45. I have 98. I have 22. I have 23. I have, what did I say? Did I say 23?
Is that
No, I'm
23 or
sorry.
25?
we don't
All
have
right.
a 3.
Jay, you
No,
said,
that's 23. I'm sorry.
you said
22.
45, 22, 98, 7, 25, and 50.
There you go. 7, 25, 50. Okay. 48, 45, 98, 22, 7, 25, 50. Okay. So what I would like you to do is take a few minutes to look through those, and I want you to rank them 1 through 6. So 1 being your favorite, 6 being your least favorite. I will tally those, and whoever comes out with the lowest will be our 8th candidate. Does that make sense? Because if all of you vote 1, then that will add up to 6, and that'll be the lowest number, and that candidate will go through. So rank them 1 through 6. So I'll give you a few minutes, look at those candidates, rank them 1 through 6.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was matching up the names with the numbers. Rank them in the order we want to call them back,
Yes.
being a one.
One being your first choice, 6 being your last choice. Okay. Are we there?
Question, do we need to rank those who we personally don't want to see back? I
Well,
mean,
just rank them 5 or 6.
Okay,
Yeah, I want you to rank all 6. So if
Okay.
you don't like them, put them towards the bottom of your list.
okay.
So you said number 1 is the first one we want to see back.
That's the first one you want to see back. Okay, so Ursula,
I'm not ready because I didn't even look at these. They weren't even.
okay. Is anybody ready? You need some more time.
I'm ready.
All right, Debbie, what do you got? Give me your number 1.
98,
Okay, number 2,
45,
number 3,
22,
22.
yes,
Okay, number 4,
50,
number 5,
25,
and number 6.
7.
Okay. Anybody else ready? Still need some time.
I'm ready, Jay.
All right, Danielle.
1 is 50. 2 is
Okay, number 2,
22.
number 3,
7.
number 4,
25.
number 5,
98.
and then 45 and number 6.
Yes.
Anybody else ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, Teresa.
I have 50 for number 1.
Number 2,
Number 2 is number 7.
number 3,
Number 45.
4,
Number 25.
5,
Number 22. Did I say that one already?
Nope.
One? Okay. And then number 6 is 98.
okay. Anybody else ready? Ed, Ursula, Judy, Denise, Denisa? Anybody?
This is Judy. I need a little bit more time.
Okay, no problem. See, this makes me happy that this is a tough decision for you, because that means that it was a good pool of candidates and that you're having the tough time deciding who you want to come in. That's good. That's good news.
Okay, I think I might be missing one, but anyway, this
right.
is what I have.
Who's your first?
25,
Who's your second?
22,
Okay, and your third?
45,
Fourth?
23.
No,
No?
no.
98,
98, okay.
50,
And then 7.
yes, 7.
Denise has
Okay.
these mystery candidates.
All right, this is Ursula. Ready?
All right, Ursula, what you got? Who's number 1?
98,
98, okay. Number 2?
45,
Number 3?
50,
Number 4?
25,
Number 5?
22.
And then 7 for number 6?
Yep.
Okay. Ed?
Almost done. Just
Okay.
finishing up.
Yep, no problem.
Entering your body.
Do we still have Judy?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Judy and Ed.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, Judy, who's your number 1?
98,
All right, number 2?
45,
Number 3?
50,
Number 4?
7,
Number 5?
22.
And then 25 is number 6.
22.
Yes, 22 is number 5. and then 25 is number 6.
No, I got 98, 45, 50, 25.
Okay, 25 is
7.
4.
Yeah,
Okay, 22
That-
is,
22, and then 7.
okay, so 7 is 6. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm with you now. Okay, so just waiting on Ed. No
I'm
pressure.
ready. I'm ready,
You're ready.
sir.
Okay, what do you got? Who's number 1?
98,
Okay.
45,
All right, number 3,
7,
number 4,
25,
number 5,
22,
and number 6.
50.
Okay, give me a minute to do some math here.
98.
Jay, when you do those numbers, will you tell us also if there's any one candidate that got the most number 1 votes, please?
Sure. Okay, so it's 98 with a total of 19 and with 4 number 1s.
That's good to know. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yep, so that's going to be number 98.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to be reaching out to the following: 59, 69, 98, 30, 96, 9, 2, and 5. That's 8 candidates. Now, one more question for you. Candidate number 45 was 20 and had 4 2s. So my question to you is, if one of these 8 declines an interview, do you want me to reach out to number 59 to fill that 8th slot? I'm sorry, number 45 to fill that 8th slot, or do you want me to just go with 7?
I would request yes. That's just me.
I'd like to hear from her, even if I mean, with it being so close, I'd like to hear from her, even if nobody does not, even if everybody answers.
I agree with that.
What?
Okay, well, that's not what so
That's
what we
not-
agreed to
That's not
was
what we
most
agreed
score would
to.
be our 8th interview. So what I'm asking is, if one of the 8 that I call declines, do we want to add that person as an 8th? I'm not asking about adding that person as a 9th. I'm asking if we want to add that person as an 8th.
Yes.
I'm a yes for
if there's a
8.
decline. Yes, to make it
Okay.
number 8. Yes.
So if anyone
Can I
declines,
vote yes?
then I will go to that person as a number 8. As soon as I get confirmation from the candidates that they're willing and able to do an interview, then I will reach out to all of the individuals that have not been selected, and I will get together the press releases and everything else. I'm going to make these phone calls tonight. Thank you very much. You all did a fantastic job. You were all ready with your lists. You were all prepared. It's clear to me that you looked over the materials. You knew the candidates that you liked. You knew the ones that you didn't. That's fantastic. That's good stuff. You had some difficult decisions to make with this 8th candidate, which is, again, good. because that means we've got some, we've got a nice pool here for you. Anything else for me tonight? Questions, concerns?
Just could you please confirm the time again for that Tuesday and Wednesday?
Because we're doing 8 interviews now, we're going to be doing 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock on both July 28th and July 29th. So we'll do 4 interviews each night, and then we'll discuss afterwards. We will provide opportunities for public feedback after each interview, and I will get that all that to you as soon as as soon as I can that night. And then we're going to do August 5th is going to be our second round. So next week we're going to need to get these 8 down to 2.
I have a question, Jay.
Yes, Teresa.
Will we be getting, will we still have access to the resumes and whatever the nights of the interview, or will we have a separate file just for the 8 that we chose?
Nope, you'll have complete access to everything throughout the entire search.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, hearing none, I will turn it back over to the board president. As soon as I get confirmation and know who's going to interview, I will let you all know. I'll let you all know that I've notified the candidates that have not been selected, so you'll know as soon as I know that you've got your candidates. If you think of anything that you wanted to ask me and forgot about, shoot me an email, give me a call, and we'll talk. If there's nothing else, then I'm going to get out of here, start making some phone calls, and let you get on with the rest of your meeting.
Thank you,
Thank
Jay.
you, everyone. Fantastic job tonight.
Much appreciated,
Thank you.
sir. We will see you in a few days.
Sounds good.
Okay, considering the time, does the board want to run through the remaining agenda items, or would we like to adjourn till Monday?
I do. Wrap it up. I mean, wrap up the other agenda items so we don't take it into Monday.
Anybody, any other opinions on this issue?
I agree.
Okay, does somebody want to text Miss Crockett so she can rejoin us? I believe that she had left the meeting.
Oh, yeah. Guess she could have stayed. I'll text her.
I think that was the correct way to do.
Mr. Martell,
Yes, ma'am.
the action items fall under the superintendent, but they're actually HR action items.
Okay, then I will turn it over to whoever is going to be presenting.
I would think if Elena's there, she would be the one presenting.
Ms. Bond or Ms. Crockett, whichever is your preference. Floor is yours regarding the action items.
Okay, I am. Let me, because I don't know if Ms. Bond is there. So the action item A was already removed, and so the other 2 items are my contract is just because mine expired on June 30th, so it's just an extension until the board sees fit. And then the second personnel item is for Director of Technology. So those motions just need to be made.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ms. Crockett. Is there a motion on the floor from the board?
Okay, so I'd like to move that the Board of Education hire David Cooper as Director of Integrated Technology for Romulus Community Schools, effective July 21st, 2020. And the
Support.
rationale is because this need is urgent, and David Cooper is not only highly qualified for this position, but additionally brings instructional and professional development skills needed to support our district and staff's technical abilities.
I
Kennard,
support
support.
Mrs. Beard.
And moved by Ms. Piles. Who was the support, please?
Kennard,
Actually,
It was
That's
Beard.
fine. That's fine.
it was Beard.
it was Beard. Okay, go ahead. That's
Yeah,
okay.
Beard chimed in first.
Discussion at this time, if there's any discussion.
I'd just like to say that this was a position that was recommended by Jeffrey Ramberg when he did the overview of our district and what was needed, and this was his recommendation. And this has been a position that we have long needed, and Mr. Cooper has been doing the work in spite of not actually having the position, just seeing what's been needed. And he's done stuff without asking, stuff that we didn't even necessarily identify. He saw and safeguarded the district and took care of it. So I'm glad that we are filling this position, and I'm glad to see the recommendation to hire David Cooper.
Thank you, Ms. Piles. Any further discussion before we vote?
Just for consistency purposes, can our agenda please reflect Director of Integrated Technology? Because it just says Director of Technology.
I'll note it in I think Ms. Kennedy, if we can make that correction. Is there any further discussion? If there is none, can we have a roll call, please?
Thunderbird,
Yes.
Beard,
Yes.
Terrell,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Wester, yes. Martell,
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Cooper, on your new position, Director of Integrated Technology.
And thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
we'll
you,
move-
Mr. Cooper, and welcome on as our new director.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
And now the real work starts.
We'll move forward with the next agenda item, which is for the interim superintendent contract extension. Is there a motion on the floor?
I don't see that topic sheet. Does somebody have that?
I move that the Board of Education extend the contract of employment for interim superintendent. I think the contract had it till September 30th, 2020. Rationale is contract expired effective 6/30/2020.
Kennard, support.
Moved by Ms. Lester, excuse me, supported by Ms. Kennard. Is there any discussion, please?
Discussion?
Discussion,
Kyle?
please.
Yeah, so my question is this: how was the end date of the contract established? I see it in here, it's set as September 30th. However, I would like to present to the board that the contract of the interim superintendent terminate upon hiring the next superintendent, or with, I don't know, a number of days notice.
I don't know. I kind of feel like we need to have some overlap. Sorry for kind of jumping in.
It's kind of like your transition period.
Yeah.
It's onboarding, and I believe it's necessary too.
Right. I understand what you're saying, Ms. Piles, but you need that for your onboarding and just the crossover and getting everybody acclimated for whoever the new person may be.
I understand that. I'm just thinking of the needs at the high school not being neglected, and the last two superintendents, we didn't have that onboarding. I mean, does it have to be a full month? Could we do contract language at September 30th or until the onboarding is complete, whichever comes first?
Okay. So,
I agree with that.
yeah, I can.
Yeah, this is Kennard. I kind of agree with that. We should be looking at that on as needed, just in case it happens. The transition happens before the September 30. We want to have some type of leeway. But we want to also make sure that we do have cross training and transitioning. So I can agree with the amendment that you just made, Ms. Powell.
Any further discussion before the board votes?
Yes, I just had a comment about number 5 under business expenses. So it usually says 1, 2, 3, 4th line, middle of the paragraph, that any conferences held outside of the state of Michigan, which are approved by the board president, Board of Education. Can we just strike president of and just make it the Board of Education, especially considering a lot of the budget cuts and stuff that are kind of going on? I just kind of feel like it should be best represented by all 7 of us as opposed to one individual.
Correct.
Agreed.
I concur, Ms. Thunderberg.
Agreed. Is there any additional?
I would just like to add a comment, Mrs. Crockett. Thank you very much for how you have stepped in and handled things, not just as a new interim superintendent, but navigating a pandemic and all that has entailed. So thank you very much for the job you've already done and continue to do. It is appreciated.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
There's no further discussion at this time. Can we have a roll call?
Beard.
Can the motion be restated again?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to extend the contract of the interim superintendent until September 30th or until the onboarding process is complete, whichever comes first.
Thank you, Ms. Piles.
Moved by Ms. Piles again, and the support was
Wester.
okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles.
Yes.
Thunderberg.
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes.
Terrell.
Yes.
Beard.
Yes.
Wester, yes. Martell.
Yes. Motion carries. Contract is extended, and again, thank you, Ms. Crocker, for the wonderful job you have done during this interim period.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you.
We do.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this point in time, we're going to move into communications from the public. So we have 30 participants. If there's anybody from the public that would like to comment at this time, the floor is yours. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and limit your comment to 3 minutes.
Hi, this is Sue Ebbets. How are you?
Hi, Ms. Ebbets. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Regarding my request for information, I have yet to receive any emails from the board office from any of the employees regarding concerns I had when we last spoke. So I will re-ask the questions. When did the food service contract end?
I don't think we got that.
Can we just answer that?
Yeah, and you know what? And I apologize, Ms. Evans, your reply is stuck in drafts. We got our, it doesn't matter. It's stuck in draft, so I apologize. But I don't know that we had that down as one of the questions. Is Ms. Rudolph, can you answer that?
June 30th.
So we didn't even have a contract with them for 1 year?
June 30th, 2020.
I understand that. That's when the contract ended. When did their contract start?
Last year in August.
Okay, so they had a contract from August to June. So we only had them on board for 10 months. So we should have never expected food service throughout the summer.
You are talking about a deadline set by the Department of Agriculture.
I'm talking about our contract with Sodexo.
So, okay.
Because we are telling our community that we have no food for them this summer. And we're telling the community it's because the company that we hired doesn't have employees. When I just talked to another one of their employees yesterday, who is highly irritated that they have no idea why they aren't working.
I'm sorry, I cannot address your concerns at this time, Sue.
Okay. Okay. All right. I would like to know about the getting new students. How did that meeting go for recruiting?
Oh, the enrollment meeting.
If you look around this community, if you look around all around us, Belleville has signs up. Kindergarten enrollment. Enroll here, enroll there. You go to Huron. Huron, you can't go down, you can't go 500 feet without seeing a sign. What does Romulus have? I'm telling you, I'm looking at the value of my home going right down the tube because we are not doing our jobs getting students. A billboard means nothing. And I am getting highly irritated with every time I hear this board talk about we need students, we need students. What are we doing? Nothing. And I don't mean to be rude and crude, but I asked the question a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was we last talked, and I've yet to, and I hear you that it's stuck in draft, but it doesn't, it's the same thing for this school district. What are we doing?
So one of the things.
Excuse after excuse after excuse.
One of the things that we've done is we have sent postcards out. If you live in the city of Romulus, we sent postcards out to the entire city and the surrounding cities. We have postings on Facebook. We have billboards that have been put up so far. We have a list of marketing items that are in process right now.
Okay, again, why don't we have signs out?
If I may interject, I agree with Ms. Evans. I think, 500 to 1,000 yard signs throughout the community would be a great addition. And I think I agree. I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
As to the Sodexo, all I can say is, that's I similarly share the same disappointments, and that's probably the reason why some of these board members, voted to send out that contract for bid. Our students deserve the best, and you're right. Many of our students depend on summer, meals, and so therefore we are working to fill that gap.
Has the bid gone out?
No.
Okay. That's interesting because it was supposed to go out the week after we talked.
You're right, Sue. I had an emergency last week and took a couple of days off. I apologize.
Well, and you know what? You're not the only person in the school board building, though, Ms. Rudolph.
I'm
You are
the
not
only
the only
person that's capable of doing that food service bid, though.
Well, unfortunately, we should be able to hand tasks off. So, again, I'm looking at the property value of my home just going down and down and down and down and down. And I don't appreciate it. So, at the meeting for recruiting, how did it go? Did we come up with any brainstorms on how we're going to contact people other than Facebook? If you're not friends with Romulus Community Schools on Facebook, you're not getting any information. You know, has anybody picked up all of the surrounding area, all of the addresses and phone numbers for parents in the area? Has anybody made phone calls? Reached out? We would love to have you as our student. You know, come in, please. We will walk you through a building. We will do social distancing. We can do open houses, limited numbers.
Ms. Evans, these are all great ideas. I would encourage you to join our recruitment team, our task force, if you have the time. These are all great ideas. I share similar concerns, and I want to bring our children home.
Right.
I
didn't mean to call and preach. It's just that I am.
Oh no, you're fine. It's, you know, that's what the 3 minutes are for. We appreciate you. And if any of Ms. Evans' additional concerns have not been addressed, can we please make sure that she gets an answer by next Monday at the latest?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Crockett.
you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Evans.
You have a great day.
You as well. Thank you for holding us accountable.
And just before we move on, there was an emergency last week. Ms. Rudolph, would you just let us know when that will be going out for bid so that the board and stakeholders will be assured that it is?
Oh, I lost her.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments from the public this evening? If there are no additional comments from the public, we'll move into the communications from board members. Are there any board members that would like to address the public? The floor is yours. Please limit your comments similarly to 3 minutes.
So, Mr. President, I would like to say that I am excited for our superintendent search and that we have very good candidates that we will be interviewing. I, again, would like to encourage all of our stakeholders to please join us virtually for these interviews. Please listen to the candidates and please give us your feedback on them. Again, we want to pick a candidate for this district who's the best fit for the district. So I personally want to hear from as many stakeholders as possible. Please join us in selecting our next superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Piles. Is there any additional from the board?
Mr. Martell, this is Teresa Beard. I just like to concur with what Debbie said. Also, in doing those, when we be doing those interviews, there will be, I don't know if it's the first set of interviews or the second set of interviews, but I do know Jay mentioned it. There'll be surveys and forms where the public will be able to respond. So I also encourage our community, staff, parents, anybody to join us and to provide their input. This is not 100% board decision. Our decision should be including all of our stakeholders.
Thank you, Ms. Beard. Is there any additional?
Mr. Board President, I just wanted to find out, could we please post the dates? And I think we talked about it a little earlier, just to make sure that we get the dates for our stakeholders so that they know when the interviews are going to be.
Thank you, Ms. Funderburg. Is there any additional?
I concur with everything that's been said and just want to have everyone have a safe week. Thank you again, Ms. Crockett, for all the work you have put in and just working as a team trying to get everything together. Ms. Rudolph, hope everything is well with your emergency. And once we can get that posted, just get the information out for our stakeholders.
Thank you, Ms. Wester. Is there any additional? Not, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Or
Supported by Ms. Wester. Can we have a roll call, please?
Piles,
Yes.
Thunderbird,
Yes.
Terrell,
Yes.
Beard,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Wester, yes, Martell,
Yes, meeting adjourned.
8:09.